What's up everybody, Nico back for another Dead by Daylight video. This one is going to be a little different from what we've done. It's not a gameplay, it's not a guide, it's just something I think would be fun to talk about, and that is new characters coming to the game. Obviously, this game constantly adds new characters. About every 3 months we get a new killer or a new survivor, maybe both. And it's always really fun to see what is going to be added to Dead by Daylight next, whether it be a new licensed killer or something completely original that they come up with on their own. It's just very exciting stuff, and it's all very, very fun every single time it happens. So I thought it would be really fun to just compile a list of the top 5+1 characters I would like to see added to the killer side of the game here in Dead by Daylight. However, if this is your first time here on the channel and you're interested in more Dead by Daylight content, make sure you sub and hit the notification bell for more stuff like this in the future. And if you do enjoy the video, make sure you leave a comment. Let me know what kind of characters you want to see added to Dead by Daylight, or just leave a like. It helps the channel out a lot. But without further ado, let's get into it. Now, like I mentioned, they are known for adding both licensed and unlicensed killers to the game, so I have a little bit of both here on my list. So the first thing I would like to see added to DBD, and I don't know why this has not been added yet, because I feel like it's just something so blatantly obvious, and maybe that is the reason it hasn't been added yet, but a werewolf style character, some sort of lichen type character would be super awesome in DBD. They've already got so many other big horror icons that I don't know why something as simple as a werewolf has not been added to the game. It's something super cool. It's one of my favorite horror monsters in general. I just think the lore behind werewolves are super cool, and I definitely think this would be awesome as an original character. Let DBD handle it all on their own, make their own story, make it a very unique, different take on a werewolf, and I think this could be one of the cooler killers in the game. In terms of powers, I'm not quite sure what I would want to see out of this. Maybe like a sprint feature where it can like drop to all fours and run, or like something that it could like catch your scent, something to that effect, to kind of go into like the primal side of the werewolf would be a really, really cool feature for this particular type of killer. Now, the next one is interesting. This is a licensed one, and it's one that I don't think a lot of people have actually thought about, but it's something that recently came to mind because of the movie that's out, and I'm talking about Carnage from Marvel. I recently went and watched Venom 2, and I don't know about you guys if you've seen it yet or not, but even in the trailers and the promotional material, Carnage is spooky. Alright, he's a very spooky, very gruesome character in the Marvel Universe, and I think this would be such a cool addition to something like Dead by Daylight, because obviously, you know, Marvel wants to make a buck with the movie, so they're not going to make it as brutal as they could, but Carnage in the comic books is horribly brutal. And I think adding a character like that to Dead by Daylight would really do the character justice. And it's just already a spooky looking character. It's not like they really have to do a whole lot with the design. And I think the powers could be really cool with all the symbiote tendrils and stuff like that. It could be a very, very interesting character. And I'm already envisioning like the Moris, where you like stick your tendril through somebody and, you know, Carnage shoves the tongue down the person's throat. Like it would be so cool to see Carnage in Dead by Daylight. And I think, like I said earlier, that this character being as spooky and as brutal as he already is, added to a game like this would just do the character so much justice. On top of that, just having like a Marvel IP in Dead by Daylight for a licensed character would be incredibly cool. Next up is another character style that I'm just surprised they haven't done yet, and this is another unlicensed one. This is just something as simple as a vampire. Like, I don't know why they haven't gone for something along these lines already. Like, you would think in a horror game, like a werewolf and a vampire would be a very obvious choice. And again, that could very well be why they haven't decided to add these, because they want to be a little more original. However, I just think they would be really cool additions. Now, in terms of what style of vampire, we really don't need the sparkly ones, okay? I don't want that. When I think of a vampire in a Dead by Daylight fashion, I think of something along the lines of what we got in Hugh Jackman's Van Helsing movie with Dracula. That would be such a cool vampire style character for Dead by Daylight, and I think you could add some really cool power-ups with that particular character. You know, do something similar to Oni with the blood and how that works. I think it could be very, very cool. Again, I really don't care to see any licensed vampire characters. I would rather them be original and come out with something really cool and unique all on their own, rather than see something from a movie or something to that effect. The next one is another licensed killer. And I think this is one that a lot of people want to see. Like, I don't think it's a shock that this is on my list. It's a horror icon, and it's just so popular. I don't think it'll ever happen because there already are games that feature this particular character, but I still would love to see it here in DBD, and that is the Xenomorph from Alien. This is just such a, like I said earlier, iconic killer. Such an iconic killer that would be such a cool addition to this particular game, and I think it would be cool if they found a way to kind of go about adding in the face grabber aliens from that particular film as well, because that would be like a really cool, kind of like how the pig's traps work, where you set the face grabber on the survivor's face and then they have X amount of time to get it off, otherwise it counts as like a Mori. And I think that'd be a really cool way to do it. Obviously that's very similar to how pig works and how her traps work, but I still think this would be a very cool addition to the game. The next one is another unlicensed, and I would love to see DBD take their own spin on this particular mythological creature, and that is a Wendigo. And these are super cool. Like, if you look into the lore of Wendigos, they basically are in the woods in a lot of cold climates. In some lore, they're possessed by spirits, and others, they are cannibals. They're humans that have been cannibalized, and they gain supernatural abilities as a result. And they feast on other human flesh, but they have an insatiable hunger, so they constantly have to go out and continue eating more and more people in order to survive. And I think these are super super cool in terms of a lore perspective, and I think it would be an awesome addition and a very scary killer to be added to Dead by Daylight. It's something that I'm a big fan of in other medias. You know, there's a couple movies that feature this kind of character. It's in Supernatural, the show. It's a very cool creature, and I think it would be an awesome addition to DBD. The final one is the most obvious. It's a licensed killer, and I doubt we'll ever see it come to DBD at this point because of all the legal troubles that this character proposes. And this is why I said at the start of the video that this was going to be a top 5+1 video, because I feel like you almost have to mention this character, but this character's been so beaten to death in these kind of, you know, want videos that I really didn't feel like it should be in the top 5. The character is Jason Voorhees. Obviously, this character is beloved by so many in the horror community. It's just it's an icon, right? It's like Michael, it's like Freddy. Everybody knows who Jason is, and it would be a perfect fit for this game. Like I said, don't know if we'll ever see it come to this particular game. Obviously, Friday the 13th, the game got shut down. The servers are now down, and there was a whole legal battle in regards to that. So I don't know if it'll ever happen in Dead by Daylight because of the legal implications surrounding that particular character, but it would be something that would be so incredibly hype if it did eventually get announced in DBD. But that concludes my list of the top 5+1 characters I would like to see added to the killer side of Dead by Daylight. Like I said earlier, leave a comment below on what characters you would like to see added to DBD in the future for killers. I will be doing a follow-up video for this where I go over the top 5 survivors I would like to see added to Dead by Daylight, because I think this is just kind of a fun little speculation video. But until then, if you found the video entertaining, make sure you leave a like and share the video. Again, that helps the channel out a ton. And if you want to catch me playing DBD live, make sure you go check out the Twitch stream, and it is linked in the description below for you guys. But that is all I have. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch y'all in the next video.